We're back. Yay! This is Sam. For those of you who don't know, this is my kid. And this is Patches. Lives in my office that Sam got out today. And today we are going to hear again the story from the gospel and talk about those two brothers that are in the story. Okay, the chief priests. That's what this is called. I have to go like this. The chief priests came to Jesus in the temple. Who do you think you are to act this way and spend time with bad people, they asked. Jesus answered them with another question, confusing the priests. So Jesus told them a parable. Jesus said, a father said to one son, go work in the vineyard. The son said no, but later changed his mind and worked. The man told his other son the same thing. The son said he would work, but he didn't. Which of the sons obeyed? Jesus asked. The first one, they replied. Jesus said, yes, think about it. The people who you think are bad are like the first son. They've done bad things, but they've changed their ways. You're like the second son. You may say that you are good, but you don't act that way. That's the end of the story. It kind of ends, like I said in the sermon before, this is not the most warm, fuzzy text. So in their question in our Bible, it asks us, do you usually act like the first son or the second son? This doesn't have to be just about you. Unfortunately, you're the only kid I have here. But do you think all people act more like the first son or the second son? Did you know what the first son did? What did the first son do? The dad said, go work in the vineyard, and he said,
no. And then he changed his mind later and went there. I'm the second son, I think.
You think you're the second son who says, oh, sure, I'll go work in the vineyard, and then you don't do it?
Yeah, I forget a lot.
Because sometimes we forget, right? What other reasons do you think we might have for being the second son?
First, we don't want to do it, and then when we don't do it, we forget, and then we just don't do it, and don't tell anyone else we don't do it until someone else finds out.
Sure. So sometimes we forget, and that's not always our fault, right? We get distracted with other things. Sometimes it's not something that we're especially excited to do, right? And sometimes it might be scary. Or just maybe we don't know how to do it and we don't know how to ask for help, right?
Sometimes I'm like, oh, first I have to do this, then I'll do that. Wait, no, then I have to do that, and then I'll do that. Wait, no, I have to do that also.
So why do you think Jesus was talking about this parable to these particular chief priests? And the first son, when he says no, but then does it anyway. Have you ever done that before? Probably. Yeah. Yeah, you've said, no, I won't do it before, and then said, oh, okay, fine. Sometimes it's with trying new foods. Sometimes it's when you know you should do something, you don't really want to, but you know you'll feel better if you do, right? We are, I think, could be either of these sons on any given day, couldn't we? Right? Because sometimes we know the right thing to do, and sometimes we don't want to do the right thing.
And you asked me why did he tell them
the chief priests?
Yeah, the parable. I think it's because they just ran in there, and the first thing they said is, "Why are you with bad people?" And then he just starts telling the parable because maybe he's thinking that they should know how rude it is to his pardon and say, "Why are you with mean people?"
Well, I think what we learn here, and sometimes I learned something really wise once. So sometimes, well, more often than not, when we're with people and we're in a group, we often try to decide who is in and who is out, don't we, right? Those chief priests were trying to decide who was not worthy to be in their temple, who was not worthy to be one of God's people, right? And someone wise once told me that when we start making decisions about who God loves and who God doesn't love, like drawing a line on the ground and saying, I'm on the good side and you're on the bad side, we will always find Jesus on the other side of the line with the people we exclude, right? So Jesus will always be with those who are excluded, with those who are thought of as less worthy than everyone else, because Jesus is always about making sure everyone is loved and everyone is included all the time, right? Thanks for being with me in this children's sermon and all these children's sermons before. We have not figured out how to do children's sermons in the future. So I don't know what we'll do next week. we will do our human best to figure it out
Maybe we'll just do a
and
really,
make an
really big
announcement.
circle.
We'll have to see. I don't know who's going to be here on Sunday and what we'll be able to do afterwards. So hopefully we'll see you next week, and we'll have more details about kids stuff coming up. Thanks for being with us, and have a great week.
Bye.